Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Taiwan's general election has been settled, with Lai Ching-te successfully elected with 40.05% of the vote. What was the reaction from all parties? 1. International reaction. Regarding the Taiwan election, the United States made a high-profile statement before the vote: any country's interference in the election is unacceptable. But isn't that an intervention in itself? Therefore, the United States' hegemonic logic is consistent. After the election results came out, Blinken first congratulated Lai on his victory, and then reiterated U.S. policy, hoping for peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and a relationship between Beijing and Taipei free from coercion and pressure. The meaning of hoping for peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait is to tell Lai Ching-te that although you were elected, your American father does not support you in turning the Taiwan Strait into another war flashpoint. During the interview, U.S. President Biden put it even more bluntly, saying clearly, "We do not support independence." The following words are for mainland China, the so-called "don't coerce Taiwan." It means that Taiwan is still my lapdog, and I am still protecting him. Britain also congratulates Lai Ching-te on his election. Britain's current diplomacy is completely tied to the United States. This is actually determined by the special relationship between Britain and the United States. After Great Britain lost its hegemony, the only correct decision it made was to bind itself to its own son, the United States, which had overthrown its hegemony. There is also Japan, which stated that the Japanese government will further deepen cooperation and exchanges between Japan and Taiwan. Because Japan colonized Taiwan, it has been claiming to the outside world in recent years, if something happens to Taiwan, it means something happens to Japan. Therefore, if mainland China wants to unify Taiwan by force, Japan is likely to use various means to drag its father, the United States, into the water. This possibility is actually quite high. Because if it turns out to be a decisive battle between China and the United States, if China wins, Japan will have to change its master and change its owner from being an American lapdog to being a Chinese lapdog. And if the United States wins, then although Japan is still the lapdog of the United States, it will suddenly become the boss of Asia. The best situation for Japan is that both China and the United States will suffer great losses. Then Japan will definitely break free from the dog leash that the United States has tied to it. Not only can it become the leader in Asia, but it can also take advantage of the opportunity to become a so-called normal country. France, Germany, and South Korea also sent congratulations. The basic content is not much different from that of the United Kingdom and the United States, so I won't go into details. It can be seen from the current international reaction that China is still facing considerable international pressure if it wants to unify Taiwan at this stage. 2. Mainland China reaction. On the mainland, Chen Binhua, spokesman for the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council, said that Lai Ching-te's election will not change the basic pattern of cross-strait relations. He said, "The results of this election in Taiwan show that the Democratic Progressive Party cannot represent the mainstream public opinion on the island." He said that this election cannot stop the general trend that the motherland will eventually be reunified and will be reunified. The previous sentence said that the DPP does not represent the mainstream public opinion on the island. I personally do not agree with it. Even if it does not represent all public opinion, it at least represents the wishes of 40.05% of voters. Therefore, this statement is completely official and has little value. I agree with the latter sentence. As long as China's rise is not interrupted, Taiwan's return is inevitable. As for whether to return peacefully or to take it back by force, I personally think that the decisive factor does not depend on Taiwan or the United States. Rather, it depends on the height of China's rise. If China rises and replaces or even surpasses the status of the United States, then China's political system will become a system admired by the whole world, and studying China will become a popular knowledge. Chinese culture will become the most attractive culture in the world, and Taiwan will probably beg to return by then. If after China rises, it will bring all of Asia or East Asia and Southeast Asia into its sphere of influence, share the rights and interests with the United States, and rule by dividing the Pacific Ocean, then, Taiwan may return by negotiating with the mainland. It is also possible that the mainland is putting pressure on Taiwan and exchanging interests with the United States in exchange for Taiwan's return. If China's rise is not high enough to influence East Asia and Southeast Asia, and the United States still maintains its status as a global hegemon, then the prospects for peaceful reunification will be extremely bleak. Retraction by force may become a last resort. In addition, mainland China also strongly opposes the congratulations from the United States, Britain and Japan to Lai Ching-te's election, because this is China's internal affairs and no outsiders are allowed to comment. This reaction actually shows how sensitive the Taiwan issue is to the mainland authorities. At the same time, they ignored the congratulations sent by France and Germany, which shows that the Chinese mainland authorities believe that the United States, Britain and Japan are the main contradictions in the Taiwan issue, while France and Germany are secondary contradictions. These are verbal actions. There are actual actions. The mainland responded very quickly. After the election results came out, Nauru announced that it would sever diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Nauru is a small island country in the Pacific Ocean, and it is also one of the few remaining diplomatic countries with which the Taiwan government has diplomatic relations. Once Nauru breaks off diplomatic relations, Taiwan will only have a pitiful 12 remaining diplomatic allies. Just a dozen, which is pretty good. This is a very clear signal to Lai Ching-te. There will definitely be many follow-up actions, including political, diplomatic and economic ones. Therefore, as I mentioned in the last video, Lai Ching-te's coming to power will have little impact on mainland China, but it will have a great impact on Taiwan. 3. Peaceful reunification is still the best solution. It can be seen from the above international reactions that if mainland China really wants to reunify by force, it will face considerable international resistance. Major countries such as Europe, the United States, Japan and South Korea are opposed to reunification by force. Judging from street interviews with ordinary people in Xiamen by Taiwanese YouTube blogger Jack Liu, domestic public opinion is actually unwilling to take back Taiwan through war. Most of the voices on the internet are shouting about beating and killing, but this is only the idea of most young people who can actively speak out, and it is not the whole picture. At the same time, fewer and fewer people in Taiwan support reunification. If the mainland reunifies by force, Taiwan's resistance may become increasingly fierce. Therefore, I still hold the same view that unless Taiwan declares independence, mainland China will not unify Taiwan by force. As a member of the Chinese nation, I personally don't want to see brothers fighting each other and outsiders benefiting. As long as mainland China continues to do its own thing well, develop its economy, build up its military strength, and break the U.S. technological blockade, let the real estate crisis come to an end smoothly, this is the most important and urgent matter at the moment. Although the Taiwan issue is extremely important, it is not an issue that needs to be dealt with immediately. Thank you for watching. Please like and follow our channel. We will bring you more exciting content in the future.